Hello guys, it's time for another guide, and today it is the Shadow Priest patch 5.2 guide. In this you will see I've put markers for each part. There's the basics of a Shadow Priest if you're new to a Shadow Priest. There's talents, glyphs and a rotation at the end. In parts of it I talk about each part as well. As you'll see in the basics, I'll say about some of the talents, because in the basics you need some of the talents to be used for a damage. Halfway through there's a bit of a burst, I believe, in the basics as well, talking about what your burst is and everything. So whatever you're wanting to watch, please click on the links and it will take you straight to that part of the video on the glyphs, the rotation, the basics and the talents. Hello and welcome YouTubers. Today we are going to be going over another Shadow Priest guide, and today it's going to actually be about talents, glyphs, the basics if you're new to a Shadow Priest of course, CCs, everything like that, and rotation of course at the end. This is for PvP, not PvE. I will be bringing out a PvE guide as well soon, or very shortly actually, in the next couple of days, but for now I'm going over the PvP. And to start with, I'm going, just for anyone that's new to playing a Shadow Priest, I'm going over the basics about what a Shadow Priest does, why it's good at its class, so on. Okay, so at the start we're going to go back to basics. Shadow Priest are a shadow spec. They have two healer specs and a shadow and DPS spec. Shadow is the DPS spec of course. In Shadow you have 4 main dots: damage over time effects, Shadow Word Pain, Vampiric Touch, Devouring Plague and Mind Flay. Mind Flay is a difficult one to choose. Is it a dot? Is it normal attack? But it is a dot. It may be casted while it's damaging, but it's still counted as a dot because every so often it ticks damage for you. And you also have a few other main attacks: Mind Blast and Mind Spike. In 5.1 you used a lot of Mind Blast and used a lot of Mind Spikes because of a talent that we had. I will go over that later when I come into the talents, but for now I'm just going to leave it at that. You also, Shadow Priests have one main attack, well not an attack, but we gain Shadoworbs. Shadoworbs are generated from if you either hit a target with your Mind Blast, or when they're below 20, I think it's 20% health now, yes, below 20% health, you can use Shadow Word Death, and when you hit with that you get an orb as well. These orbs, as you can see, back in Cataclysm, you used to be able to use Devouring Plague whenever you wanted. It was a dot that you could use at any point. Now it has changed. You cannot use Devouring Plague unless you have Shadow Orbs. It uses Shadow Orbs from now on. As it says, consumes all of the caster's Shadow Orbs to deal a certain amount of damage and additional shadow damage every second for so many seconds. It also heals the caster for 1% of the maximum health, yada yada. Damage and healing increased based on the number of Shadow Orbs consumed. As you can see, I will show you now. If I use a Mind Blast, I get a Shadow Orb that just pops up there, and you see that. It says, it looks like I've got 3, but I've got 1. It's weird. But yes, there's a Shadow Orb there. That's where it shows up. And you'll see, if I quickly get 3 Shadow Orbs, and I show you the damage I do, and then if I show you, I'll do it on a different dummy just in case it misses. Right, I'll do it on this dummy here. Here we go, it's 74k, and then it ticks for 12 and 25k a tick, depending on if it crits or so on. Right, and now if I do just one Mind Blast, it ticks for 21, and then it only ticks for 3k a second. It increases normally the damage by about 4k each orb you consume. which is quite nice actually. If you have 3, you can, yeah, that is what you need for a good burst. Another couple of main attacks we have now is, well, not main attacks but main spells. We have, it's in our talents, we have Cascade. Cascade is a very good attack at the further you are away from a target. For example, if I stand right next to the target now and cast it, it spreads to other targets, as you can see, which is amazing. Very, very good actually. And as you saw, it didn't do much damage to that main target there. The further you are away from the target you cast it on, well, it's an instant cast spell, so yeah, it's only a 25-second cooldown, but the closer you are to the target, the less damage you do. Depending on how as it says here, launch a shadowy bolt at the target that grows in power as it travels. As it gets, as further you are away, the more it grows. As you see here, look, bang, 45k, 45ks, 45ks, 70ks. It's really nice. Just in that, I did 500,000 damage with 1 cascade, pretty much. That is very nice. There's also, you have, cascade is actually a talent. You can even, there's 2 others that are good attacks as well. You can have Halo, which Halo is different again. I can't actually, I'm going to show you what it does. I got to reload, I'm sorry to say, because it goes a bit dodgy sometimes, which is pretty annoying if anything, because of stupid add-ons not loading or something. So let's go Divine Star first, shall we? Right, Divine Star. I don't ever use this, I'm not going to lie, I never use Divine Star. Divine Star is an attack which fires the Divine Star in front of you, travels 24 yards, not as long range as what Cascade does. Cascade is 40. Causes 15,000 damage to all targets in the area, and heals all targets in the area, all allies in the area. It also, after it like reflects back off the target and bounces back at me. When it's bouncing back at me, any ally or enemy that gets in the way of it when it's travelling will get hit by it or healed if it's an ally. So if you watch here, I'll go over here and see if I can get it to work. These aren't on my list, but who knows, it might work. So let's use that. Okay, and it goes, look, it's healed them. It comes straight back, as you saw there. I'll do it again in a second to show you again. It's going through all the targets at the moment. I'll set it to the middle one there, so it passes through all these then. As it goes through, you'll see now, it goes through, it attacks stuff, it heals stuff, and it heals them on the way back, which is very nice. Okay. Next we have Shadow Priest buffs. Shadow Priests have one major buff. They have lots of buffs, but they have one major one, which is Shadow Form, of course. Shadow Form in 5.1 used to increase your damage dealt by 20% and reduces damage taken by 15%. You always want this up at all times. Now it doesn't just increase damage done. As you can see, there's a completely different. You look completely different. That's me without it. This is me with Shadow Form. Okay, and now it's been changed. It increases your damage by 25%, an extra 5% on every single attack you use. That's, if you're not in Shadow Form, you do a quarter more damage when you're in it. So say you do 1 million damage. If you were in Shadow Form, you would have done 1.25 million, which is really nice. It still reduces damage taken by 15% again. A raid buff that Shadow Priests give is stamina. It increases everyone's stamina by 10%, which is very nice as well. because as you can see I've got 394k health. Buffed, unbuffed I have only 371, so using that increases your health quite a bit as well. We also have another one, and it's called Inner Fire. Inner Fire increases the armor value of items, of your armor value items by 60%. So any armor you have at the moment, as you see down here in my stats, I have 22,000 armor. I take it off, I have 13,000 armor. Armor reduces the physical damage taken. As you can see, physical damage taken is reduced by 32% now. Okay. I also have another buff in Fear Ward. If I'm against another player, because I have Fear Ward up, when they try to fear me out, it's actually, I am immune to the first fear. It blocks off one fear attack. So if I have a Warlock cast a fear on me, I will be immune to it, which is very nice. Only for one time though. It's got a 3-minute cooldown, and you can only use it once every 3 minutes, of course. We also have got a lot of self-healing actually. We have, in a PvP situation, you use really 3 major things I use. I use Prayer of Mending, which is this one here. If you cast it on yourself, it doesn't heal you yet, but the next attack that someone does to you, it heals for 17,000. Next time I take damage. But may you heal for that, but because of my spell power increases your amount of healing and damage done by so much. So if I got hit, it would increase my damage, it would heal me. I have another one, Renew. Renew heal is it's a healing over time spell. It, as you can see, it heals me every so often, which is very nice as well. Another the best heal we have for Shadow Priest. When you're in trouble, you just stop, you sit here and you spam flash heal. It heals for 49 a tick, unless you get, sometimes you're lucky and get a crit, which I'm going to try and get in a minute. Looks like it's not my day. Nah, it's not my day at all. Not getting any crits. I feel like crying. Doesn't like to give me crits, but as you can see, it heals 40, near enough 40. 91, there you go. 40 on a normal, 91k on another. That's like near enough a quarter of my health will go up if I get a crit. Next, we're really just going to be going over stats. As a Shadow Priest in PvP, there are a few major stats. We have spell power, PvP power, PvP resilience, mastery, crit, haste, and hit chance. Okay, in PvP, you want to definitely make sure you are hit capped. Hit cap means you never miss the target. A hit cap is, in PvP level, if you read it here, it says target level, miss chance. 91, at level 91, I have a miss chance 266, but because the top level you'll find in PvP is only a level 90, the hit chance that you want is actually 6%. That's all you need. Haste, I don't really use haste in PvP because you can't. It sometimes increases it reduces the cast time of your Mind Flay, your Mind Blast, your Flash Heal, all your casting spells. It reduces the cooldown. Sorry, the casting time by 0 point of so many seconds for every % you have or something. But I don't use that because there's a haste cap. Once you hit the haste cap, it increases. You get an extra tick of a dot. So if I say that, for example, I use Shadow Word Pain on a target, let's count how many ticks it gets. 1 tick, 2 ticks, 3 ticks, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. As you saw, I had 11 ticks. It will give me 12 ticks, so I get an extra 9 or 12k damage out of it, which is very nice as well. Another major thing we have is, as a Shadow Priest, is actually, I forgot to say, shadowy apparitions. A shadow apparition is really another one of you that spawns. As you can see here, I'm here, and here's a shadow apparition. Shadow apparitions, when you deal a crit, when you use Shadow Word Pain and you get a crit, you have a 100% chance to spawn a shadow apparition. As you can see, there you go, look. Okay, we got a crit, and look, there's a shadowy apparition, as you can see. It's going to walk into the target and do another 9k damage to it. You can have 3 up at once. You can only have a maximum of 3. So if you're in a big battle, and say for example I dot that, I've got loads of targets around me, I dot them all, and I'm getting like crits. Look, I've had 3 already, 4, and they just keep coming. You just keep getting shadow apparitions all the time. As you can see, there's another 2 walking into targets, 3, and as you can see, I'm getting no more because the maximum you can have up at once is 3. And you see there, shadow apparition already did 142k damage, just with a load of them spawning, which is very nice to have. Okay, so not really much else there is. There's just about now it's the rest of the stats. I use mostly crit and mastery. Crit increases the chance you crit by, mine's 16%, and mastery now, whereas in the last patch mastery used to increase damage done with your Shadoworbs. So in the last patch, if you had a Shadoworb up, it used to increase your damage by so much, whereas now you need to consume them. In the last patch, in this patch, mastery now has a chance to duplicate your dot damage. So if I put a vampiric touch, I have a 27% chance to do double damage with it. So that's only 8k. I've got a 27% chance. Oh, 32 now, sorry, because I just had a proc. It doesn't always proc, but it's nice when it does, because in total you're going to be doing 16-17k a tick. There you go, 20k. That was a crit with a duplicate damage as well, which is very nice to have. Right. PvP power and PvP resilience are very important in PvP situations. PvP power is all about providing damage reduction, where from any other player in the game. As you can see, I have 64%, so I take a lot less damage than what I would normally. PvP power increases damage done by 49%. Apparently, damage is increased by 49%, but I don't really see it used a lot. I don't really see much difference because resi is better than power. The more resi you have, the less damage you take. So you don't do that much damage with that power, but you do more damage to minions, and for example, you're in Strand of the Ancients, you do more damage with your attacks, really. Okay. Oh dear, I've been disconnected. Awesome.
Connection lost.
Don't know why I've been disconnected. Give me 2 seconds on this. Let me just check something. Right, should we coming back up now? Don't know what happened there, guys. I'm sorry to this. Oh god. Sorry to say, I don't actually have a clue what happened there. Okay, I'm logging back in now. As I was saying anyway, I was just about to go on to talents and glyphs. I have a Shadow Priest now. Okay, so the talents. This patch, you can really choose on a few areas. For example, the first talent at level 15 you can either have Void Tendrils, Scyfiend, or Dominant Mind. Dominant Mind is a mind control where you can take over the player for, I think it's around 6 seconds in PvP, and you can chuck them wherever you want. You can make them run off, you can do all sorts to them, stop them healing, and it's a 1.6 second cast, which is not that fast, but it's better than what it used to be, because it used to be a 2.5 cast back in 5.1. I rarely use this. I only may use this in either Storm or Athery Bassin. The major one I used to use was Scyfiend. Scyfiend is amazing. It used to be a chain fear. You put it down, it fears all targets in 20 yards every 2 seconds. So it'll fear them out for 8 seconds, and as they try to run back in, they get feared out again. But it won't do that no more. It only, when they fears them once, they run back in and they can't be feared again by a Scyfiend. It does not target them again. So now I've decided I'm going to use Void Tendrils. It's mostly because of melee and anyone that tries to run away. If you watch, I'll use this. The dummy's immune. Oh well. Well, I'll show you again when it's off, maybe on a squirrel or something. But Void Tendril, it's like a root. It grips the target in place. Melee can't attack you because they can't get out of it. It can't be dispelled. It has to be killed to get out of it, or you have to wait for so long, because I think it stays up for 30 seconds unless you actually get out of it. Right, as you can see here, it roots the squirrel in place. It has 78k health. You can't get out of it. As you can see, you can't get out of it at all unless it's killed. As you see, rooting up to 5 enemies within 8 yards of the caster for 20 seconds. Killing the tendril will cancel the effect. Okay. In the second talent, it used to be Phantasm. Phantasm was amazing back in 5.1. It removed all movement impairing effects. Great if you're fly carrying. Not gonna lie. And you can't have your movement speed reduced for 5 seconds when you've casted Fade. But now Phantasm back in 5.1 did all that again, but also stopped any ranged attack from could not be targeted by a ranged for 5 seconds. You couldn't even be attacked for 5 seconds straight. How awesome was that? But they took it away. So now I'm using Angelica Feather. You think, why would you use something like that? Really? Because it got buffed hugely. If you look, I run into the feather, I can run for 6 seconds straight at 60% speed. Place another one, run into it, another 6 seconds. That's 12 seconds at running at 60% speed already. I missed that feather. Right, still got that. That'd be 18 seconds straight running, and already I have another charge of a feather. So you run over the next feather again. That's 24 seconds flat out, and by the time this one ends, in 1 second you have another feather again, and that'd be 30 seconds at running full speed of 60%, including the dispersion with your set bonus you have. Set bonus increases your movement speed while your dispersion by 60% by 60% for 5 seconds, which is very nice as well. So really, you could run for 35 seconds straight at 60% speed, which is very nice, because in a flag carrying situation, you can fast cap it easily. You can run from the one side of the base to one base to the other in 35 seconds flat, if that. No one can keep up except for unless they're mounted, and that's it. And it also helps, I use it for my team as well, because my team need help sometimes. They need to, for example, the tank's in trouble, he needs to get out of there. First of all, I'll Leap of Faith him. I forgot to talk about that as well, Leap of Faith. It's very nice. I'll see if I can get some guy to join me. I'll invite him. No, I won't. Shoot, I won't invite him. I'll invite him, because he's attacking the target. I'll try and invite someone, see if I can get anyone to join. No, he declines. Damn it, never mind. What it does, anyone that's in your group, let's put yeah. Anyone in your group that you target, you grip them to you. So say the tank's in trouble where that horse is, I'd be here, I'd grip him and he'd come straight to me, away from any attacks, and then all I'd do is place another feather for him, he'd run straight into it, and he'd be off. No one could keep up, and he could go cap the flag, which helps a lot. Another spell I did forget, I'm sorry to say, is Void Shift. Void Shift is very nice as well. It's say that, for example, I'm on 10% health. If I swap, for example, with someone that's got full health, like that, he's full health, so I can't. It has to be a friendly target as well. It has to be a party or raid member. You can swap health with them, and increases the health percentage of the two to 25% if below that amount. So no matter what happens, if we're both below 25% and I use it, we both get 25% health. But if I'm on 10% health and my mate's on, for example, 100%, I'll get 100% health because I'm getting hit really hard by everyone. I'll quickly do that. I'll have full health again. He will have 25% health because he only had 10. And but I can do it the other way round. If he's in trouble, I have full health. I can swap over and then self-heal myself up again. You must always call it out as well. Don't silently do a void shift, because they'll end up probably dying because they won't realise their health has gone down, or your health has gone down and you have to self-heal. So make sure you call it out. The next glyph in 5.1, it was all about From Darkness Comes Light. From Darkness Comes Light was a very nice attack. You had a 15% chance with your Vampiric Touch to grant you an instant Mind Spike, which was really an extra 30,000 damage all times, every time it procs. It used to be amazing because of the glyph Mind Spike. Here it is. Mind Spike, it did not usually say, it used to say your successful Mind Spikes, not non-instant, reduce the cast time of your next Mind Blast within 9 seconds by 50%, stacks twice. So you could reduce the cooldown of could reduce the cast time of your Mind Blast by 100%, so you had an instant Mind Blast. But they've changed the glyph. You're successful non-instant, so any instant Mind Spikes you get don't count, no more. So that pretty much ruined that talent. So I decided to go Solace and Insanity. Solace and Insanity is a passive spell. You don't cast it or anything. What it does is, for every orb you consume with Devouring Plague, or even, I think it's Psychic Scream you can do it with actually. It says here, your Devouring Plague. Your Devouring Plague increases the damage of Mind Flayer by 30% each orb consumed. So, if I have one orb up, my Mind Flayer does 33% extra damage. 2 orbs up, 66% damage. And one more, it will do 99% extra damage. So if I show you, I have my Mind Blast procs, as you see there as well. That's a glyph I've just used. He is stunned, he can't move. Well, of course he can't move, he's a dummy. But in PvP, if you get a crit with your Mind Blast, it stops him from moving. I'll go over that later as well. But for example now, I have 3 orbs. If you watch, I'll use my Devouring Plague, and then I use my Mind Flayer. It ticks at high damage, 31k a tick, and a 64k crit. As you saw as well, now if you look, 15k a tick and a 32k crit. It was doing 64k crits and 31k damage. And you see, that's the colour of my Mind Flayer. But I'm going to just do it with 1 orb now actually. If you look, I use that and I use this. Look, it changes the colour of your Mind Flayer, which is very nice indeed. It's a nice little graphic they've brought into it actually. But yes, Mind Flayer does a lot of damage now, and it is very good for a burst. A Shadow Priest burst now consists of Cascade, well that's Divine Star, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry to say again, because of what happened, I couldn't go over Halo. I'm gonna, we'll leave Halo for today. Well, Halo is a spell that is 45-second cooldown, and you cast it, and it just does a massive circle that spreads and expands and will hit all targets around me in such a yard radius. For it's same as Cascade. The further the target is away from the Halo, the further the target is from the center of the Halo, the more damage they take. It grows in size pretty much. Again, the burst of a Shadow Priest now is, for example, let me build up my orbs, and you'll see in a second. Let me just put a load of Shadow of Pains on the targets so I get instant Mind Blasts. There you go, there's one instant Mind Blast. And there's another instant Mind Blast. Okay, so we have our procs. Let me just cancel all these out. Mind Spike, sorry, also it cancels out any dots you have, which sucks. Right, okay, so I'm going to reset the recount, and you will see the amount of damage I do in not a lot of time at all. I'm just going to do a quick reload so I can get... Well, I'm not going to use Cascade this time, so everyone knows I'm not going to be using Cascade. So if I start with my open with Shadow Fiend and Trinket, so you dot up again, use Mind Flay, and now I'm using my Mind Flay, as you can see, without the lag. Does not help at all. I've already done 100,000 damage. The lag stopped it there a bit, but normally you can reach around 80k DPS a second, which is very nice. But yeah, your burst is very high now, which is lovely as well. The next one I use, most people either use Angelic Bulwark or Spectral Guise. Spectral Guise, I don't see the point in it. You blur into the shadows for 6 seconds. But if you're against a melee and you blur away from them, they just attack. All it says is, when your true form, because when you blur out, when you vanish out, you leave your true form there still. It's like the spirit leaves the body. You stay there while your other thing stays up, and it can still be attacked. After it gets hit by 3 attacks before 6 seconds, you come back alive in your original form again. So they can see you again, pretty much. It's not that good unless it's opener for a start of a fight in arena. That's the only time I will use that, is arena, and so with Phantasm, I will use that in arena as well, instead of Angelic Feathers. These are for RBGs, I should have said at the start. Angelical Bulwark is very nice as well. Anytime you drop below 30% health, you get an Absorbing Shield that's equal to 20% of your health, so really you have 50% of your health again, but it looks like you've only got 30, but 20% of it is actually a shield. It lasts for 20 seconds, but it can't, for example, say I get dropped and I get healed back up, it won't come back up again for 90 seconds. I can't get this proc again for 90 seconds. But it is very nice when you're in trouble and they're bursting you down, because really, thinking about it, you always have 120% health at all times. The level 75 talent, I use Divine Insight. This is the one which, when you cast Shadow Word Pain, you have a chance to get an instant Mind Blast. As you can see there, your next Mind Blast spell is instant cast and costs no mana. You see there, 58k, and it's just because of that. And another proc already, which is very nice again. The percent is you have a 5% chance with your Shadow of Pain to get it. It's not very high, but it does proc a lot in an RBG if you're dotting up every single player. The last one again is the level 91. Because we were testing them out, Cascade, Divine Star and Halo, I do use Cascade now. I used to use Halo. Halo was amazing. It was the best until they nerfed it. Halo was very good for knocking people out of stealth because of the yard radius it had. Literally, it could hit, if I stood in the middle here, it would hit them back targets over there in a massive circle around it, and it would knock anyone out of stealth in that area, which was very nice. they nerfed it so you can't knock people out of stealth, which has ruined Halo. So I start using Cascade now because of the damage is actually better and the cooldown is lower. Next is the Glyphs. Glyphs I use there's two major ones. Glyph of Dark Binding. This is very good because if you don't have Glyph of Dark Binding, anytime you heal, you get knocked out of Shadow Form. But with Glyph of Dark Binding, you can use Leap of Faith without knocking you out of Shadow Form. You can use Renew, and you can use Prayer of Mending without cancelling Shadow Form. So if I didn't have the Glyph, every time I healed, it'd get rid of Shadow Form, which means I have to go back into Shadow Form and then attack again. But now I can sit here, use them two, stay in Shadow Form, and get back attacking again. So that is the main one you need. Another main one I believe you need is Glyph of Master Spell. When you're in a situation and a mage ice blocks, or everyone started up and they need a big dispel, or even a pile of bubbles, you literally, I just do Control 2, gets my mind. Look how fast that casted. It casts at 0.491 seconds, I believe, if I remember rightly. No, sorry, 454 seconds. I got it wrong. 0.454 seconds. It reduces the cooldown. It reduces the cast time of your master spell by 1. It used to be near enough a 2-second cast to do a master spell. Doing this means nobody, unless they are amazing, can interrupt that in time. Unless they somehow get a lucky one, they go to interrupt you on your last spell by the time you've already started casting your master spell, then they'll interrupt it. But there's no way it can be interrupted because of that cast time, and it's very good for when you're doing damage and everyone wants a quick go, master spell please, boom, 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 done, and back into damage. It works every time. I've just realised something else again, I'm sorry to say. Dispersion. That is our main defense. Dispersion reduces damage taken by 90%. This is very strong. I don't know why I got an error, but as you can see, I've gone into a bubble. It reduces all damage taken by 90%, and also grants you 1% mana, I think it is. No, regenerating 6% mana every second for 6 seconds. So if you aim and you need to use it, you get mana. In total, you get an extra 36% mana. You get 36% mana from using Dispersion. And it can be used when you're silenced, you're snared, you're rooted, snared is a root, feared out, anything. But you can't, if you're interrupted, you can't use it. Before you used to be able to use it, but they put it into the spell book. Or I can't remember what they said they did, but you can't use it when you're interrupted or something anymore. It shares a global cooldown with everything else. This last glyph is more of your own choice. There's a few I would choose to use, but at the moment I thought Glyph of Mind Blast. Glyph of Mind Blast because I crit a lot with my Mind Blast. Every time you crit with your Mind Blast, you cause the target unable to move for 4 seconds. If a target's trying to get away and you get a crit off on your Mind Blast, he's stuck. He can't go anywhere. Gives you 4 seconds for every DPS to get on top of that player, which is very nice. But if you don't always crit with your Mind Blast or something, I would suggest either using Glyph of Dispersion, so it reduces cooldown on your Dispersion by 15 seconds, which is nice as again, because then you've got a 1 minute 45 second cooldown on Dispersion instead of 2. Glyph of Fade reduces all damage taken by 10% while in Fade, while your Fade is up. That's another good one. You always reduce damage taken by 10%. Or even you could probably use now a healing one. For example, Prayer of Mending. When you use Prayer of Mending, when they first hit you with it, because Prayer of Mending also, if I use Prayer of Mending and they hit me, Prayer of Mending then bounces to another ally to heal them when they get hit. With Prayer of Mending also, with this glyph, when they first hit you, I get an increased 60% healing done. Another 60% on that heal, which is very nice as well. Or even you could use Power Word Shield what 20% of the absorb from the powered shield is converted into health. So I'd use powered shield, I get like 20-30k health straight away, which is very nice to have as well. Another one you could use is Vampiric Embrace. It increases the healing done by Vampiric Embrace by 50%, because already Vampiric Embrace fills you with Embrace of Shadow Energy, causing you and your allies to be healed for 50% of any single target shadow damage you deal. And it's evenly between everyone, lasting 15 seconds. If you do this, it increases it to 100% and reduces it to 10 seconds though. But you do 100% more. Well, 50% more, so you're doing 100%. Whatever you damage, you heal on everyone. So it's quite nice as well to use that for a raid cooldown. And now I'm going to be doing a fast rotation at the end. I'm going to be doing it over these targets here. All of these to show in a situation of everyone being involved. You dot up everyone first, and you always want to be in an RBG. You're wanting to be listening. Whenever you get a proc, use it as well. Whenever you're in an RBG though, you want to be listening to your target caller. What he calls, you do. Pretty much. Everyone's dotted up, as you can see. They're about to run off. It's not a very good example because they're about to run off. But then, say for example, he says, target the raid dummy. Everyone on the raid dummy now. You get your burst up. Use that. Use your mind flays. All out mind flays. As you can see, I've already done 4 million damage already, just with that little time. And that target would have been dead straight away, which is very nice. And everyone's still taking damage. Make sure you always keep dotting people up. If you want to know what add-ons I use, I will be doing an add-on video soon as well for any use. For example, as you can see here, when I use it, you can see my dots are above the UI. If you don't know what this is, I'll be making a video shortly about this. I'll be making a video about my UI, anything I have, any add-ons I have, anything. I will also be bringing out a PvE guide for Shadow Priests. It is going to be different again. There's a few different things we need to sort out. Mostly a rotation though is for a player, unless they say focus and you burst. Your main rotation is get 3 orbs, use Devouring Plague, and use Mind Flay in the times where you can't. No need to refresh your dots. As you see now, Vampiric Touch is getting low. It's at 2 seconds. Time to recast. Shadow of Death Pain is at 1 second. Recast it. Never let your dots drop. Do not let your dots drop. That is the main priority. Never let dots drop. It's harder. It's harder than saying it, to be honest. In an RBG, you've got players on you. You're getting nuked. You're getting stunned. You can't always keep your dots up on everyone. As long as you try to, you normally can. So anyway, I hope you like the video. Please comment, rate, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys later.